right, we're looking at day one for module 9 with probability. Again, our big goal for this whole thing is to identify sample spaces and calculate probabilities in different situations. Our goal today, day one, is to go over these vocabulary words and then to be able to identify and create sets. We're just going to be able to list out sets of objects is what we're going to do today with these vocab words. So that's our learning goal on our learning target today. So let's go through some of these vocab words to start with. That'll be our beginning here. So, yeah, let's start with those definitions. So the first one is a set. And you guys can read through this a little bit more word to word. A set is just a group of objects is what I like to think, and those objects can be either numbers or people or items. It's just, again, just a group of people. That's what a set is. So make sure you guys know what that is. When we talk about set notation now, that's actually listing out those sets, and we're going to have these curly brackets that are there as well. So we talked about sets being like numbers or items or people. So here's 3 examples of that, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That would be a set notation of those even numbers through 10. This bottom one, now I'm talking about kitchen items. And so if I wrote those in sets, I just write out their names in that way. Okay? Sets are usually named with capital letters. So we'll write the sets, but then we'll name them so we don't have to actually say, hey, the set of all kitchen items. We just have to say set C. Okay? So again, if I say set of appliances in a kitchen is set C, then I'm going to write this notation right here because that matches with that. It's just shorthand, so we don't have to write it all the time. Okay? A sample space is a set, but it's a set of all possible outcomes. So and I can define this how I want it. Again, if I'm talking about numbers, I mean, I could talk about the sample space as being numbers 1 through 10, and that would be my sample space from that, and that's only the numbers I'm looking at. If I'm talking about like items, let's say I'm talking about the sample space of all students that go or all students in Box Elder School District, then that would be my sample space. It'd be every student that's in Box Elder School District would be that sample space. And again, that would be a little bit harder to list out, but we're going to practice with small enough sample spaces and sets that we can just list those out. But in reality, a lot of times we're dealing with sample spaces that are quite large, and we don't want to list them out. A subset is a set of elements that are contained in another set. So if my sample space is 1 through 10, and then I put set D here as 2, 6, 10, that's going to be a sample or a subset of that sample space. An even better example of this is this one here. Set D is 2, 6, 10, and set A is 2, 3, 6, 8, 10. So because 2, 6, and 10 are also part of A, we would say that D is a subset of A. And we're going to use this little symbol, this sideways U, that you guys can see here. You're going to need to know those to denote is a subset of. So that's how it reads. D is a subset of A. And what that means is that, again, all objects from D are contained in A. So 2, 6, 10 are also in A, as you can see. So know the symbol and know the meaning for both those, because you're going to have questions like that. An empty set is a set that has no objects or things in the group. We'll use this symbol for that as well, a little 0 with a slash through it. Okay. These next 3 are ways to create essentially subsets from my sample space and my other sets. So the first one is intersection, and you're going to need to know that sign, and a lot of times we use the word and for this. And the intersection of 2 sets is the set of elements that include elements included in both sets A and B. So it's like, what do they share in common? You could think of it that way from that. Okay. So if I have A, and then you guys can see the symbol, which is intersection B, is 2 and 4. That means that 2 and 4 are in both A and B. There might be more things, but 2 and 4 at least are in both of them. Okay. The next one is union, and that's that little U, or we use the word or. The union of two sets is the set that includes elements or objects from set A or B. And so, for example, if I have A union B here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. That means that those objects are part of one or the other, but not necessarily both. They could share them, but it's one or the other. Okay? We'll get into some examples. I think some of these make a little more sense. We've got the complement, which it's going to be that little C that's up there, or this means not. So a complement of set X would be the elements that are not in X, but are in the sample spaces. So I always think of complement as not. So if I have this one, A complement, that's what's not in part of A. And so those numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 are something that's in the sample space, but it's not part of A. So A would have to be everything else from that. Okay? Let's get into some actual examples with some numbers that might make a little bit more sense as we go here. Okay? So we're going to write, again, we're going to write these sample spaces down and go that route. Okay, so my sample space is 1 through 20. So I'm going to go my brackets, and then I'm just going to list out all my objects from my sample space. Yes, this can be a little tedious, but we're visually writing them and communicating with each other that way, okay? This might be the longest one you guys will ever have to do, and I'm doing it for you here. So so you just list them all out. That is my sample space. And again, I put those curly brackets or squiggly brackets, okay? Then J is a set of odd numbers from my sample space, so I'm just going to write out all my odd numbers. Again, with the squiggly brackets. K is the multiples of 5, 1 through 20. So that would be 5, 10, 15, 20. Those four numbers. L is the prime numbers up to 20. So we're going to list those ones out. First prime number would be 2, and then 3. Again, prime number is anything that's divisible by itself, and 1. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and 19. And then M is the set containing 1, 10, and 20. So it's just going to tell us what those are. So that's how we would write those sets. That's one of the first, or one of the big goals you guys need to be able to do, is just write out the sets in set notation. And then we want to be able to answer some of these questions down below here with this. So it's saying is M, and then remember this symbol, if you guys remember that. Symbol is subset, which means all of those items are part of another set. So it's saying are the numbers in M, 1, 10, and 20, part of K? Which they are not. So we'd say no, they are not. Okay. Then it's saying is L a subset of J? So is anything that's part of L here, 2, 3, 5, is that part of J? Which it is not because of the 2. So this would be no as well. It has to be every single bit, not just most of it. Okay. Those are just yes/no questions. All right. What is K? And then this symbol is intersection or and. So I'm going to write this set. So I'm going to go my curlies, and then I'm going to write anything that is in both K and M. So 5 is in both of them. 10 is not. 15 is in both of them. So this would be 5 and 15. Again, the intersection is what do they share in common. So again, if you look at this, I have 5 and 5, and then 15 and 15. Those both have those in common at that point in time. Okay. J intersection K, or J and K. So if I look at that, again, I have 5 that they share. 10 does not. 15, whoops, guys, I did the wrong one. 15 does. So my bad, I'm looking at the wrong one. So this one, sorry, this one's over here. My bad. That one's over there. I looked at the wrong one for that one. So everybody cleared this one. This one is actually correct here now. Okay. So let me do this here. Sorry about that. Again, that's J and K. So J and K, I've got 5 and 15. I was just looking at the wrong sets. This one that's K and M. So K and M, I'm going to look at those. What do they share in common? Well, they both have 10, and they both have 20. Those would be the two that they'd share. So, and that one would be good at that point in time. Okay? Sorry about that little mistake there. Okay, here we go. J union L, so this would be OR. So J or L. So if I look at this one, I've got J up here and L here. And this one, I'm going to list anything that's part of one or the other. So if I look at this, 1 is part of it. It just has to be one or the other. So these ones get big, so I list out everything that's there. 2 is there. 3 is there. 5 would be the next one. 7 would be the next one. 9, 10, 11, 13. So I'm going to do this down here. 15, 17, 19, and 20 with those curlies. So I'm going to put anything that's part of one or the other down here. Whoops, no 20 though. Let's look here, no 20. Sorry about that. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, no 10 as well. Sorry, got to look a little bit closer. I've got them, I need to look closer here. 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. So, is what we're looking at. So that would be my numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19 would be my union. Okay, if I'm looking at L and M, now I'm looking at the bottom two here. And I'm just going to write anything that's part of either one of them. So 1 is, 2 is, 3 is, 5 is, 7 is, 10, 11, 13, 17, 19, and 20. So I'm listing anything that's part of L or M. Doesn't have to be the shared at all. Okay, and then this bottom one, these bottom ones are the complement. So this is what's not part of J, but that's part of my intersection up here, or my sample space. So what's not part of J? Well, J was the odd numbers, so this is just going to be all the even numbers up to 20. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. And then this one's what's not part of K. So K was 5, 10, 15, 20. So this one's going to be a big one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 11, 12, 13, 14. And then 16, 17, 18, 19. And that should be it. And that would be your set because it's not part of K. So anything that's not a multiple of 5 right here. Okay? Apologize for a couple of those miss sites. I just need to look a little bit closer. So be careful when you guys are doing that, is looking. So that's how you should be able to do this. And we're ready to rock and roll. We'll see you.